Welcome to Books in the Freezer, a podcast dedicated to the deliciously disturbing world of horror fiction. I am your host, Stephanie, and today I am joined by a friend and returning guest, Quincy, to talk about speculative fiction, speculative horror. Welcome back.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's always fun to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we always talk about everything horror and Taylor Swift related, of course.
Of
So
course, I'm sure she'll come up once, at least, right?
maybe, maybe.
Maybe not. Please don't turn this off. Someone out there is like, no, I can't.
Yeah, right, right. Don't worry, we'll save it towards the end.
All right. So today we are talking speculative fiction. And why did you want to talk about speculative fiction today?
Yes, so this is one of my favorite, I guess, subgenres of horror or even sci-fi, just because it does explore a lot of like landscape when it comes to like books and anything literary. But also it's a nice change up from like the A to B plot or storytelling formula, if you will. Um, like I like it because oftentimes it's like confusing almost, where you're left thinking and pondering and having to figure out what did I just read, and but also I think it's a good device to really have bigger discussions about what you're reading in a more like interesting and fun way, you know. So
I definitely agree with all of that because I was looking at the notes that I put in for all of mine, and there are things like you are grappling with these concepts. This, sci fi element serves as a metaphor for this, and it's really
mhm.
helping you, the reader, grasp this concept and kind of put
Yes.
into the what if.
Yes.
Um, and I feel like people are probably going to be mad because I feel like nailing down what speculative fiction is such a thorny subject.
It really is. I
And
agree.
we both of us looked at several different sources and several different things, and they all were different.
They are like we have to do our research on top of our research, and it's like there's no one answer for what it is, I feel.
Yeah, I looked at sites that were essentially it's an umbrella term and it's just anything that's a mix of horror, sci-fi, fantasy. Like if it falls under any of those three, it could be speculative.
Keyword could be like,
Yeah.
and I feel speculative is always that question, like it could be this or that or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
I will tell you personally the way I always think of speculative, and again, this is just my rubric, is I kind of think
Mhm.
of it in a Black Mirror-y sense. Like this is the real world except for this thing.
Yes.
That's kind of
Yes.
been my rubric, but I know that's not accurate to a lot of the definitions that I found. That's just
Mhm.
always been the way I interpret it.
No, I am right there with you. Like ever since a kid and getting into like reading and stuff, I always felt speculative was very much, oh, here's the problem, but we're looking at it through the lens of this impossible thing or a
Mhm.
society or whatever the case may be. That's kind of like the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, how can we peel back the veil that is reality and re examine what's going on? So,
Yeah. I mean, thinking of it like one of my all-time favorite movies, I'm such a cliche, but it is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. But essentially it's like this is the real world, this is our everyday reality, except for a surgery exists that can erase a whole person from your memory. And would
mhm.
you do that because moving on is so painful? Like, have you ever been in so much pain that you think life would be better if I could just erase every memory I had with this person?
Yes. Yes, I don't blame you. That's a very good pick for this episode, I feel. But yeah, I don't know. I feel a lot of speculative stories do have plenty of like ambiguous
Mhm.
like endings, and it's not just like sci-fi as the lens or horror as the lens. It's like, oh, let's take all these three, horror, sci-fi, and fantasy, combine them into like a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, but no, I do love that movie though. It does bring up that question, like, would life be better if I could
Mhm.
erase this person or memory or whatever.
And what if you keep coming back to each other?
Exactly. And then maybe the outcome's different, or who knows?
Mm.
So,
Oh, did you read Never Let Me Go or watch the movie?
um, so I did start it, but I started like 3 times. And
Mm.
it's not because I don't like it, it's just because 'cause I've been busy, but it's there. I see it on my nightstand. But so
Oh,
far what I've read, I've enjoyed. Um, but it's in the back of my mind always, just lurching.
so you haven't gotten to like the speculative element yet.
I haven't. I'm like way too like in the beginning stages of it. So,
Yeah,
but I know I'm so sorry. I want to talk about it though. Just
you can
because I
DM
was
me
looking review it. Yes, well, I'll DM you. We'll have a separate discussion.
because I know you and I know you love an emotionally devastating read. And
Oh,
like adding in a
yes,
speculative element, I mean,
yes. I'll pay top dollar, for that experience. So,
yeah, so I was thinking about movies and shows that could be described as speculative, which was also tough to Google. This was not like an
hmm
easy
hmm
list to come up with for some reason. But Get Out definitely fits into this, where it's like, this is our normal reality, but
hmm
what if
yes. What
this thing
if?
existed? Don't worry, darling. Like, what if we're in our normal
Mhm.
reality? But what if? Guess I can't spoil any of this stuff, so I'm like,
I
a
know.
thing exists.
Exactly. But also, like, in speculative fiction, like, how do you actually, like, spoil something?
Hmm.
Nothing's, like, dead set.
I don't know. With mine, I was telling you earlier, all mine are, and there's a dark secret behind why this
Oh,
is too
yes.
good to be true.
Yes.
So I will not be spoiling what the dark secret is. But yeah. But I mean, yeah, like Black Mirror in general, like really playing with the idea of the effects that these technologies or these scenarios could have.
Mhm. Yes, yes, I agree. Um, I think Handmaid's Tale, and me personally, I feel does fall under the umbrella.
Yeah.
Um, it is in, like, a quote, unquote, "near future" and asks a lot of questions like, "Well, what if this was the world we live in?" Or
Hmm.
what if these rules were forced upon women and minorities, um and of course I think we can all agree it's a little too close to home, so it's very much a good candidate for this episode.
Yeah.
Hmm
I'll talk about it in one of my picks because it's comped with The Handmaid's Tale for similar
hmm
reasons, and that they're both metaphors and stories for things that have already happened to women of
hmm
color and people of color, and
hmm
things that are like what ifs, but they were things that already happened to people that
yes,
were already
yes,
in our history.
yes.
um so that's another element of this too.
hmm hmm One show I kind of wanted to discuss and get your opinion on is The Haunting of Hill House. Um, I know I mean, it is very much like just straight up horror, but in my mind, I think horror in this show is very much like the aesthetic, and the majority, the meat and potatoes of the show is this family and
Hmm.
their relationship between one another and the grief they all feel together, but that they're all like pissed off about something and they all have their thing. But the horror is very much just, again, the lens we're looking at this through.
Yeah.
um, and there's plenty of questions as well that are coming up when I watch this show. But yeah, I do consider this like maybe even the outskirts of like speculative fiction, but I do kind of put it in there. So
I mean, the case could be made for it. Speculative doesn't necessarily have to be like horror sci-fi. It's horror fantasy, which like the
yes,
hauntings and the ghosts and stuff could fall into.
yes,
And
yeah,
like metaphors for addiction and grief.
exactly, exactly. There was one quote I actually found doing my research, and it's from an instructor, Lisa Wood. She teaches at what's it, Southern New Hampshire University. And she says speculative fiction lives in the space where real life and make believe collide and where the ghosts come out to play, you
Okay.
know? And then to me, ghosts are really like mistakes and
Yeah.
traumas and stuff like that. So that's very much Haunting a Hill House.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
love that show.
Me too. Me too.
I've watched it through twice and I have cried every single time.
Every
I'm a
single
crier
time.
though. I'm a crier.
Me too. Me too. And honestly, unapologetic crier.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
I went to go see Lisa Frankenstein in theaters.
Mhm.
I did cry in Lisa
Yes.
Frankenstein. I also cried watching the trailer for the Amy Winehouse biopic.
Oh, I don't
And
blame
it
you.
doesn't show anything sad, but
Yeah.
just knowing I cried in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. It's her legacy that's left behind, and now we get something to kind of
They
that
did the
capture that.
shot where it she was at the Grammys and she won her
Mhm.
first Grammy, and it was
Mhm.
just recreating that moment, and I just
Mhm.
burst into tears. So that's who I am.
I love that.
All right. Well, should we talk about some books?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh my god. Okay. So my first book is The Center by Aisha Manazir. And you will be happy to know this. This is from Gillian Flynn's imprint. Um,
Oh, okay.
and also, this is The Center, Centre, not ER. It's the like, I don't want to say fancier, European way, probably to spell center. But this is about a woman named Anissa who is a translator and she dreams of one day translating works of great literature. But her current situation is just kind of working from home, sitting on her couch, subtitling Bollywood movies.
Mm,
And she has a boyfriend named Adam who she thinks is just kind of very mediocre white man, except for he has this exceptional ability to learn languages. And they go on a trip to visit her family, and suddenly he speaks Urdu
mm.
impeccably, like over a weekend.
Oh,
And she
wow.
finally is like, How are you doing this? What is your secret?"
Yeah.
And so he finally tells her that there's this very exclusive program, the center. It's very secretive. It's invite only. And if you're of someone who has used it, you have to sign a lot of NDAs and you only get one referral like in your
Oh, wow.
life that you can use and cash in on.
Yeah.
Um, but it guarantees fluency in 10 days in essentially any language you want. And it is expensive. You have to pay like a couple $1,000s to do it. Um, so she decides to do it and learn German, and she has to leave all of her belongings and live this kind of sparse existence where she's just immersed with these language studies. And 10 days later, she comes out fluent in German and is able to translate, lost German works.
Mm,
And she just becomes really interested in this program and the center and enmeshing herself with higher ups in there and eventually learning what the secret is. Like how is this possible? What
yeah.
is making this work? And you'll never believe it. It's a dark secret.
Oh, dun dun dun.
I really liked this book. I think this book is grappling with a lot of things. It's grappling with privilege and white supremacy and classism and appropriation in a way that really deals with like the prickliness of
Mm,
these
yes.
things. It's very thought provoking. Like it's a book I after I was done reading, I listened to the audiobook and there was a Q&A with the author that even got me thinking more about things and I'm like, "Oh yeah, like I didn't think about that. That's really good." I obviously don't want to say too much
Of course.
um about what's going on, but just really interesting, really nuanced characters and like as things were going on, it was one of those audiobooks where I was like finding things to do to like keep listening.
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't
Oh,
just like sit on my bed and listen. I feel like now I need to like alphabetize my books, like I need
yeah.
to like make tasks.
It's you were, like, very much like a madman in a jail cell just walking back and forth. Like, you need to do that in order to, like, listen and think.
Absorb the
Yes.
information.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say all of my books are definitely room temperature, but the content of them haunted me for several days, and I definitely like they were thought provoking and I thought about them. But on the scariness scale, I will say all of them are very approachable. There's
Mhm.
nothing like horrifying. I really liked this. That is The Center by Aisha Manazir.
Yeah, I think all my picks are very much room temperature as well, but the topics that we, explore are very much
Mm.
intense and they linger and, so but spoiler alert, all three of my picks are short story collections. Um I do personally feel like if you were a newcomer to horror in general, but like speculative fiction, more specifically, I feel short stories are kind of a good way to get your feet wet, and it gives you a good opportunity to just explore ideas quickly, I guess. Um, but my first pick is Bliss Montage by Ling Ma. And this is a collection of 8 stories that are very, very different from the last. There's plenty of variety, but there's plenty of like speculative vibes, dark ambiguity mixed in, very dreamlike. But the genre again does act very much as a vehicle for bigger discussions. For example, we do explore topics like abuse and immigrant family relationships, toxic friendships, motherhood, or even the relationship one has with their own body. There are 2 stories I want to highlight really quick. I will keep them brief just because, again, they're short and it's very easy to like spoil something. But the first story is actually the one we open with, and it's called Los Angeles. And this is about a woman who lives in a mansion with her husband, as well as her 100 ex boyfriends, all in the
What?
same house. Yes. Yes. I know. Very like out there and like what is even going on. But this just does a good job of like introducing the reader of a woman kind of reevaluating her past relationships and how those can haunt you even years and years after the fact. So, and the second story I want to highlight is called G. And this is about 2 friends who reunite for an evening and they take a drug called G that turns you invisible. And it's a very simple premise, but it does shed light on what a toxic friendship looks like between 2 young protagonists and also the cultural expectations placed on women's bodies. Um, for example, they do shed light on what does skinny expectations look like in America versus like in Asia. And there's like topics about that. So, but yeah, again, very room temperature. But yeah, that's Bliss Montage by Ling Ma.
Well, Ling Ma wrote Severance, right?
Yes, yes. Which would be another good option
Yeah.
for this sort of topic. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, when you were saying 100 boyfriends, it reminded me of the song 100 Boyfriends by Alice Lung Hu Gao. It's
I
on
don't think I
Bodies,
know that
Bodies,
one.
Bodies. It's like a very like EDM-y, like
Oh, I'm into that. That could be a good like final girl S song for like that short story probably.
yeah, everybody's jealous of my 100 boyfriends.
I
Anyway,
love it.
my second pick is a book I read this year. It came out last year. So far, it's going to be one of my favorites. Like,
Mm,
I have not stopped thinking about this book, and this is Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. And we are following a woman who was a kind of piano prodigy at a conservatory, and her parents got into a debilitating accident. So now they're living full time at a recovery center, and she gets a job at a beauty and wellness store in New York City called Holistic with a K. Holistic.
mm.
Like it's a whole vibe. And I mean, it's a very bougie company, and, she has, roommates who were kind of like, "How did you get that
Is it
job?"
like Goop?
Yeah, like, kind of, but it's a store, and it's known for these very experimental and miraculous procedures, like,
Mhm,
like permanent eyelash extensions
mhm,
and, like, safer alternatives to Botox with, like, silkworms. And as employees, they have access to and are actively encouraged to try these. And so, as she's working there, she's getting like trying these things for clearer skin and skinnier
mhm,
thighs and lighter hair. Um, and she becomes friends with the niece of the owner and founder
mhm.
of Holistic, and as you can imagine, becomes aware of some of the dark secrets
Yes, of
behind
course.
what is behind all of this. Um, but this was such a 5-star perfect story for me.
Mhm,
Like, we're following this protagonist. We never learn her name, but as she's thrust into this thing that's pushing in this job where she's pursuing these beauty standards where everyone ends up looking the same, this kind of loss of
mhm,
identity and loss of
mhm,
culture. And her parents, fled China in the wake of the Cultural Revolution, and gave her this gift of art. And it's just it's so
mhm.
much. It's like exploring like consumerism and
Yes.
race and loss of identity and beauty standards and the wellness and beauty industry and all these things, and I just absolutely loved it.
Oh my
um
god, that sounds really, really good, honestly. You sold it to me.
I really liked it. So yeah, that is Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang.
Sweet. My second pick is Boys, Beasts, Men by Sam J. Miller. If you are like, if you need like, really good queer literature, this would be a good one to pick up. The author is openly gay, and this collection has 14 stories that center around, gay men and boys, and all these stories are very heartbreaking, imaginative, and very human and very raw. But some of the topics we do get to explore are sex, homophobia, manhood, the AIDS crisis, even, and grief itself. But the two stories I wanted to talk about from this collection, the first one is We Are the Cloud, and this is like a cyberpunk story about a young boy who wants only for someone to like care about him and love him. He's very much a loner, while living in a society that doesn't care about him. And this was probably one of the saddest in the collection, just because you are having to see this boy in his loneliness and how he navigates the world, but also the dark side of falling in love and what that looks like. So yeah, that was really fun. And the second story that I really liked is called Shucked, and it's about a young gay couple that are on their first romantic vacation together, and they find themselves walking into a bar and meeting an older man that offers them a large sum of money for the boyfriend's time. He asks for like an hour or something like that. And the question that is very apparent at the end of it is the boyfriend that has returned the same person or not? We don't know. And this one was very, very creepy. And I did listen to the audiobook, 5 stars. But this does a good job exploring like the human desires as well as what we consider compromising versus settling in the context of like a romantic relationship. Because I do feel the
Interesting.
line is very thin between the two. And this one, I read it maybe, I think 3 times, if I remember correctly, just because it took that many times to really understand it. And when I did, it was a very nice payoff. So I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's Boys, Beasts, Men by Sam J. Miller.
Wow, I haven't heard of this one.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. And also, let me just show you the cover. It's like gorgeous.
Oh, that is really pretty. I feel like that name
Yeah.
sounds familiar. He's written a novel, right?
Yes, The Blade Between, I think
Yes.
it's called.
Yeah.
Yes, which is yeah, very iconic. Yeah, highly recommend them.
Right. My final pick is Lakewood by Megan Giddings. And the comps for this are essentially like The Handmaid's Tale meets like Henrietta Lacks.
Mm,
I'm
mhm,
forgetting the full title of that. I'm sorry. This is about Lena, whose grandmother has died, and she is a millennial, and now she has figured out and come to terms with like their financial reality and how much debt her family is actually in. Like this is something that was kept from her. Like they didn't want her to worry. But now in the wake of this death, it has now kind of become her responsibility. So she finds a job that seems really too good to be true. She's going to be a part of a secret program that's going to help research for um, different products,
mhm,
things like eyedroppers that will make your eyes blue, or a pill that will make bad thoughts go away. And I will say, tonally, when she gets to the facility and starts, she's essentially like a guinea pig. Like she's taking these treatments and they're
mhm.
seeing what the side effects are to these. So those chapters are very fever dreamy. They really get
Oh,
into the
yes.
surreal as she like loses touch with reality and what's going on and what is happening to her. And as you can imagine, there is a dark secret behind what is going on behind all of this. But this it serves as a metaphor for the medical experimentation that was put on black bodies throughout history, much like, Margaret Atwood said of The Handmaid's Tale, like I didn't write about anything that hadn't already happened
Yes, yes.
to like,
Like in her
black or
world.
indigenous women or
Mhm.
minorities. Um, and these are, horrors that have been perpetrated on these bodies in the name of science and advancement and,
Mhm.
you know, like what that happens and taking advantage of financially vulnerable people and what you are willing to do when you are the one that has the financial responsibility in your family and what
Mhm.
that stress will do to you and what you are willing to sacrifice. And are you even fully aware of what that sacrifice is?
Yes. Oh, that sounds fantastic. And you were referencing the immortal life of
That's it.
Henrietta Lacks, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
You saw the movie with Oprah?
I haven't.
Oh my god, girl. If you need a
Okay.
good cry, if you need a good cry, and Oprah does fantastic work in that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, I'll
Yeah.
watch it.
Yes.
Right. So that was Lakewood by Megan Giddings.
Okay, so for my final pick, which is probably top 3 favorite books of all time, and I think everyone and their mom is probably aware of this book, or at least it's safe to assume so, but that is Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. And she what can I say about this book? Oh my god. So this collection does have 8 stories, and it does a fantastic job at showcasing what does female desire look like, or abuse and motherhood, but also expectations society places on women, and as well as queer relationship that center around women. And
Mhm.
Carmen takes genres like science fiction and horror, even magical realism, and she kind of blends them into tales that are very sharp and heartbreaking at the same time. But 2 stories that I want to talk about. First one is Inventory, and this is where we follow a young female protagonist navigating through a pandemic, but the whole story is told in sex scenes. So you just get like these like little chunky paragraphs that kind of make you travel through time. And but again, they're all very sexually explicit. Some of them are a little disturbing to read, but this was a very like not well, I don't want to say refreshing, but it was a very interesting way to tell a story. And I love that in just like what 20, 30 pages, you travel through years of this. So it's a lot to chew on. And but yeah, and then the second story, which hit a little close to home for me, but it's called Eight Bites. And this story, we follow a woman that gets gastric bypass surgery, and you get to see what her relationship with her body is like, and how it affects her relationship with her daughters. And I really like this because like I talked about this story with my mom because she had bariatric surgery, and growing up I got to witness what like the treatment she was receiving when weight was like coming off, and especially being, a Mexican child, her mom, my grandma, you know, did a lot of shaming towards her about it, and then but also saw other people like giving her props like, oh, you look so good, congrats, whatever. And so it's this very like wishy-washy experience of like, oh, you're lazy, you didn't do it right, or congratulations, you look amazing. And then while all that is happening, you get to taste what confidence is like, you know and it's a very interesting like thing to experience. But also I never had bariatric surgery, but I did myself lose a good chunk of weight, where I got to taste some of what my mom went through, and it really brought up a lot of good discussions between the two of us. And I even gave her the book to read, and I told her, if anything, just read Eight Bites, you know um, but yeah, this was my favorite story in this whole collection. So yeah, that's Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Rita Machado.
I love that. Oh, I love this
Mhm.
collection so much. And it's tough. I feel like there's just no right way to exist in a body. And I
Correct.
don't know.
Correct.
I've been so many different weights in my life. And there it is
Mhm.
like that also. There's that part of it also, like when you lose weight and you
Mhm.
notice how much differently you get treated.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you mourn for the injustices of your past self.
Correct. Correct. But also, when you lose weight, or so let's say you have bariatric surgery, the fatness, quote unquote, still kind of haunts you because you still have like the scars, perhaps, or maybe even like the loose skin, or you have a box of clothes you can't seem to get rid of, and they're all your bigger clothes. Like that still is apparent in your life even after losing the weight. Um, but Carmen, I was watching a interview with her, and she brought up a really good idea of how like your body is this thing that like protects you. You
Mhm.
feed it, and it nurtures you. It gets you through the day. It can take a lot of shit from society and people and life itself, but also your body fails you. It retains weight. um some days you wake up weak, some days you wake up strong, and it's very like gaslighty, I guess, relationship one could have with their body.
Yeah.
And Carmen does a good job at showcasing that in this collection.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And especially if you have a chronic illness or something and you really have
Yes.
to measure out how much energy you're going to have throughout the day for just normal tasks. There's a
Exactly.
lot. I think my favorite is the opening story, The Husband Stitch. That's for all our creepy, scary stories to tell in the dark, girls.
Yes. Yes. I agree. That was a very strong way to start this
Mhm.
book, honestly. And I was listening to this podcast where Maria explained what the husband stitch, like what that term comes from. I think people should just do the research themselves and look it up. But it was a
Mhm.
very clever way of like taking, very Taylor Swift-esque, of taking that and like redoing it and making it a bigger thing, a better thing, even in the context of
Yeah.
this. So
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
Well, are we ready to talk some chilling obsessions?
Oh yes, please.
Oh my god, what have you been enjoying lately?
Oh my god. Okay. Well, there's two things I want to talk about, if that's okay.
Go for it.
So the first one is a movie called Talk to Me. It's an A24 film, so you know it's going to be good. And we follow a group of teens that discover an embalmed hand, and they figure out how to conjure ghosts with it. And with this experience comes like a thrill and euphoric effect they quickly become addicted to. And this movie is very, very graphic. So for you've been forewarned, but it is a good allegory that discusses like drug abuse, um, young adulthood, and even grief. And I had to go to the theater a second time just to watch it again because I like very much enjoyed it. It was worth the money, and I think people who are in love with standard horror would really get a kick out of this because it hits all the check marks for everything. So
Okay.
yeah.
I rented this because I
Mhm.
saw that it was your chilling obsession and I wanted to
Yes.
be able to talk to you about it. Also, it had been
Yes.
on my to watch list forever. I'm
Yeah.
sad I missed it in its theatrical run.
Mhm.
Um, but I watched it while I was working and I was squirming, looking away from the screen so many times.
Yeah.
Um, and it is such a good like metaphor for drugs
Mhm.
just because of how they feel afterwards
Mhm.
and like the main character Mia,
Mhm.
could be seen as someone who has like a genetic predisposition to like
Yes.
go a little further than
Yeah.
everybody else and need it and go to like
Mhm.
whatever lengths to do this, but in the context of grief and wanting
Yeah.
to the possibility of talking to her mom again.
Yes.
But
Yes. Oh my god, those scenes with her and her mom in the bed. I won't say anything further after that. But I don't know if you remember, but it was very creepy, but like
is
sad
that the
at the
one
same
where
time.
like wait, is that the one where like the ghost is like crawling in and
No,
like
no, it's where her and her mom just lay in the bed and her mom like holds her.
oh,
Yeah, and it was like very creepy because it's a freaking a ghost cuddling
holding
with
you.
you, but it's also like Mia like embraces that because it's her or an image of her mom and she wants nothing more than that. So like it's a very cathartic experience to be scared and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was a lot. And that ending had me like,
Oh, I
oh.
was shooketh. I was shooketh. I was gagged, my jaw was on the floor, and but, like, that ending was such a good punch, that's why I needed to see it again because I wanted to
Yes.
feel that in my chest again. So, but yeah, that's
Ugh.
I highly recommend it.
Oh, it was really good. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I wanna buy the hand. They sell it on the
Yes,
A24 website, but it's like
they
100
do.
something dollars.
Yeah, and it'll just sit on my shelf collecting dust.
I would never I would never, like, even playfully shake it because of the movie, even though
Mm-mm.
it's, like, a mass produced. It's our Mexicanness, like,
Yeah,
it's
we
been
don't
bred into us, like, don't do that. Don't mess with that.
yeah, even if
Not
it's
enough that I would
appetizer.
still buy it, but I just
Yeah.
wouldn't go that far.
Yes. Like I think I would maybe buy it, but I would not touch it by any
Yeah.
means. I would have someone else with gloves maybe. But yeah, it's our heritage, man. It's like we know that's too close to comfort.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really know if I believe in any of that, but no.
But no.
Why tempt fate? Why do that?
Yes. I have no business risking it,
Mm-mm. Alright.
honestly.
What's your second part of your chilling obsession?
Yes. Okay. This is where we're gonna discuss Taylor Swift, and
Okay.
I'm not sorry about it. But this is the song Right Where You Left Me. And this is from the Evermore album.
Yes.
And the reason why I want to discuss this as a chilling obsession is because I feel it's very easy to look at this song as a ghost story. A ghost story about a woman who is so heartbroken that she's essentially become frozen in time and stuck, left wondering and pondering about the relationship that just ended. Where the expectation is, especially for women, is to learn from it and just move on, and like as if it's that simple, you know. And I actually have the lyrics pulled up just to prove my case here. Let me pull this up. So, for example, she says, I'm still at the restaurant, sitting in the corner I haunt, cross legged in the dim light. They say, what a sad sight. Um, I swear you could hear a hairpin drop right when I felt the moment stop, indicating like time freezing because you're so heartbroken. Glass shattered on the white cloth. Everybody moved on. I stayed right there. Or another good example is when she says, did you ever hear about the girl who got frozen? Time went on for everybody else. She won't know it. She's still 23 inside her fantasy. How it was supposed to be. Did you hear of the girl who lives in delusion? Breakups happen every day. You don't have to lose it. Um, and this just does a good job at like showing, like, especially when you're young, you're heartbroken, everything is ruined. Like your whole life is in shambles, very dramatic. But we often forget how like even a simple breakup when you're in your youth can still linger. You're still stuck there like, oh, what if I did this differently? What if he did this differently? Or what if we did this or whatever? Like there's a lot of what ifs, you
Yeah.
know. Um and you're kind of forced to just stay there in that moment and figure it out. So
Oh my god.
yeah.
This is one of my Evermore favorites. I think the line where she says, "You probably got a wife out there, kids and
Kids at
Christmas,
Christmas.
but
Yes.
I'm all
Yes.
alone." I'm like, I can't. And
Yes.
okay, there was a time on TikTok where people were making edits of this
Mhm.
song to WandaVision, and
Oh.
I was crying, scrolling through my phone. Like, I can't do this right now.
Watch after this recording, you're gonna pick up your phone and just go and
It's gonna give me
humor
the
yourself.
most devastating edits. I have been victimized by a TikTok edit to a sad song.
Oh, same. Same. Why do we like sad shit so much? Do you ever wonder that?
I don't know. I just love feeling. That's why I love horror. I love that it
Yes.
transcends. It makes me feel something. I like to feel scared. I like to feel sad. I like
Sad.
to laugh. Just
Yeah,
give
all
me
of it.
feelings.
Yeah, especially when you get to like when you're forced to think then
Yeah.
afterwards and there's tears running down your face. You said that very nicely. We like to feel, you know.
Oh, I have a chilling obsession.
Yes. What is
Okay, so I did love Lisa Frankenstein. I said that up top.
it?
Everyone
Mhm.
needs to go watch it. It was an absolute delight.
Run, don't walk.
Run, don't walk. Give Diablo Cody her flowers. Jennifer's body queen.
Yes.
Um, but I watched a documentary on Tubi called Satan Wants You.
Mhm.
And this was about the book that arguably, I don't know if started is the right term, but played
Mhm.
a big part in the satanic panic of the 80s. Michelle remembers,
Yes.
which was about true story, heavy quotation marks, where a therapist and a young woman, and he had her go through this like kind of hypnosis, like regression, like therapy, and she, heavy air quotes, recovered these memories of satanic ritual abuse. And it became this bestseller, and suddenly people were seeing this abuse everywhere, and police forces were trained on how to spot signs of satanic ritual
Mhm.
abuse. um and it really, yeah, got into the effects that this book had. And listeners of You're Wrong About and You Are Good um will be like very familiar with this. Sarah Marshall did a whole series on Michelle Remembers, and she was a talking head on the documentary, which was exciting. I
Oh,
was like, "Yay."
cute. Love that.
Yeah. Sarah Marshall from the Gerald's Game episode.
Mhm.
Um, but just how devastating it was. And then in the second half of the documentary, talking to the woman, Michelle Pastor's family, because Michelle Pastor
Mhm.
did not do the documentary. She refused to comment on it.
Yeah.
Because so this therapist did this therapy with this woman, then left his wife for this young woman.
As
And
they
they were
do.
like doing this book tour together. And so um a lot of the second half, and they talked to the therapist's ex-wife
Oh.
about all this. It was spicy. I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
okay."
Imagine the tea spills. Oh, girl, I have to watch this. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I had a good time with it. So that was Satan Wants You. That's on Tubi. So
Tubi.
it is free.
Oh, let me go save that real quick. Perfect. Um, love that. Do you have a Final Girl song?
Oh, I don't think I do. So
No.
that's you.
I got you. I got you. My Final Girl song is Play the Part by 2 Feet. I think this is a very underrated song. This is very much a song like your hot boyfriend with eccentric taste in music would probably listen to.
Okay.
But this is a really cool song that I wanted to talk about because the lead singer is a guy, of course, but it brings up this really cool image in my head of like him singing, and the lyrics are very much talking about a woman who's not playing the part. And to me, it shows like the part of a victim, you know. And the man is angry, like, "Oh, you're not playing the part. How dare you?" And in my head, I see this like in a movie with the finer girl just, wreaking havoc and good for her moment. And this is playing because she's not playing the part that he wants her to.
Yeah.
And it just gave me all the vibes that I needed.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
that's it.
I
Check it
am
out.
adding that to the list.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking to me about speculative fiction.
Well, of course, anytime.
Mm, it's always a good hangout.
It really is. There's always drinks and books, and honestly, it's the perfect girl talk.
It is.
It really is.
Books in the Freezer is a bi weekly podcast. We post episodes every other Tuesday. You can find us on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok at Books in the Freezer, or send us an email at booksinthefreezer@gmail.com. Show notes for this episode and all previous episodes are at booksinthefreezer.com, where you will find a list of the books mentioned. You will find a link to the Final Girl playlist that, fun fact, was featured in the acknowledgments of the new Stephen Graham Jones book. Fun, fun. You can also find links on different ways to support the podcast, like affiliate links to Libro FM and Fangoria, among others. There's also a link to the Patreon, where there is a $1, $3, and a $5 level with different perks at each level, if that's something that interests you. But if you're looking for a way to support the podcast without spending any money, might I suggest leaving a review on a site like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And again, thank you so much to all of you who have already taken the time to do that. You have my eternal gratitude. I have been your host, Stephanie Gagne. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time on Books in the Freezer.